I agree with both of you. As majority leader, I tried to get the appropriation bills done, frankly, marked up in May, to the floor in June, to the Senate in July, and reconciled in September. That's the way it ought to work. Fairly simple. We're all adults, we're bright, we're able people. We ought to be able to do that. But frankly, everybody thinks if they keep waiting, they'll get their way. And the Senate doesn't like to consider appropriation bills because it takes them too long. And that's a very simplistic way to look at it. But as somebody who has tried for 20 years as a leader in this House to get the appropriations process to run on time in a rational way, and the question I would ask Director Young and Secretary Yellen, we ought to determine how much it cost us in lost time and productivity to do the process that we have done this last 16, 17 months. You don't have that now, but I would suggest that we get that number because that's the cost. The real cost is more than that because of the lack of confidence that people have that this government can run in an efficient and effective manner. Both parties are to blame. This is not a party problem. It is a human problem of delay and dissemble, which is pretty harsh, but I think that's what it is. Now, let me ask a question. $650 billion of investment. When was the last time we had $650 billion of additional investment, which I think was motivated by the infrastructure bill, by the science and CHIPS bill, and the IRA? When was the last time we had $650 billion in 1 year of additional private sector investment?
I honestly can't think of a time when we've had such a response. It's been absolutely dramatic, and I think it's been driven by the trifecta of legislation, the bipartisan infrastructure law, the CHIPS and Science Act, and especially the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the most dramatic, important piece of environmental legislation in history, and we're seeing an unprecedented response.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I would tell all the members of this committee, in 2010, I came up with an agenda that I called Make It in America. There were a lot of talk about Made in America. I said, Made in America is what we did yesterday. Make It in America is what we do today and what we're going to do tomorrow. I think the most Make It in America Congress in which I have served since 1981 was the 117th Congress. And I think the results, not only in terms of investment, but the results in terms of jobs and economic growth that we have seen. I heard the chairman's comments, but I frankly think that an honest analysis of what has happened over the last 36 months, from the pandemic on, we made extraordinary investments, we spent a lot of money, and we have to deal with that because we spent a lot of money, we incurred a lot of debt. But it has made an extraordinary difference in the lives of America and indeed the rest of the world. So that's not a question, it is an observation, but I think important to make. And I yield back.